In this video, we look at can you negotiate mortgage rates and how to do it. That's starting right now.
Welcome to Homebuyers School, brought to you by Brookfield Residential.
Hi everyone, welcome to another Homebuyer School video, a channel where you get the latest strategies, tactics, and tips from home buying experts. And remember, if this is your first time on this channel and you want to get the latest strategies from the experts, hit the subscription button below, hit the little notification bell so you don't miss anything. So today I'm joined by Mushtaba Syed, Manager Mobile Mortgage Specialist with TD Canada Trust. And the question we're going to answer today is, what happens if my mortgage application is denied?
Yeah, if your mortgage application is denied, it's definitely an unfortunate thing. You definitely want to have a conversation, sit down with the lender and find out why was it denied. That's probably the best thing to do, and find out, was it because of a credit scenario? Was it like the fact that your ratios weren't in line? Was it an income scenario? Or was the fact the lender wasn't comfortable using a certain point of your income? It could be a numerous different things about why you were denied. So first and foremost, you want to find out is why you were denied. And then if the reasonability does not make sense to you, definitely ask them to say, listen, I don't think this makes sense, or I don't think the information that I had provided to you got really across to the underwriter, people that are looking at your file. And see, well, I would like to maybe send in an appeal, sending for a second review to see, can someone else take a look at it? At the end of the day, underwriting process is definitely something is done by people. So there could be some human error involved. We want to make sure that your file, exactly how you presented it or your lender presented it, is the way it was seen across by the underwriter. And even after that, if something does not make sense to you, definitely reach out to someone. Reach out to another professional, someone that comes highly recommended to yourself, and get a second opinion, get a second review done, and ask them, does this sound right to you? And based on your experience, maybe the lender that you were dealing with or the specialist you were dealing with was maybe new to their role, did not understand which policy to apply to your certain scenario. You definitely want to be able to see and say, does this make sense? Can I reapply again? What is your recommendation to me? And if the specialist feels like that they've seen your scenario before, because nowadays nothing's cookie cut anymore, right? Nothing's black and white. A lot of lending can really be done a lot in the gray area today. So a lot of specialists will really have to kind of keen their skills and actually hone their skills to get a lot better. So if you're a specialist, if you feel like they're kind of not, you don't feel comfortable, you feel like it doesn't make sense to you what they've really spoken to you about, definitely reach out to someone else. Get a second review, get a second opinion done. Now, even after the second review and the second opinion, and it still comes back declined, now you know there's a legitimate issue there. So you should sit down with your lender and specialist and say, listen, what can I do to kind of improve my chances? I want to buy. I do want to buy in the future. I don't want to maybe stay at home forever or rent forever. What is it that I can do? They can sit down with you, make a plan. If it's a credit scenario, they can help you fix your credit, make it better, get you on a payment plan, etc. So your credit improves in the future. If there's an income situation where you feel like your ratios are in line, maybe they explain that to you. You could maybe look at getting a higher paying job. Maybe you can start working some overtime. Maybe you can look for even a part-time job. A lot of scenarios, a lot of clients are looking at part-time jobs and they're working part-time and they're using that for the qualifications. There's lots of ways to qualify for a mortgage if it's just income reasonability. For example, now most lenders and most insurance companies like CMHC and Genworth will let us use a house if you're buying, if it has a legal basement suite. We can sometimes use their rent to actually part of your qualification to see if you can qualify. We can put someone in the basement as a rent, as we call it, as a mortgage helper, to see if it would help you qualify for that mortgage. So there's tons of ways to look at. Maybe a co-signer is a good option, but those are discussions you definitely want to have with your lender. But the biggest thing I would recommend is to see what kind of trust and faith you have in your specialist and lender. If something does not make sense to you, definitely reach out to someone else and without wasting too much time, because then the process could just drag on longer and longer. Get that second review done and then kind of go from there. But if you're not qualified, or if you got turned down for a mortgage, that's not forever, right? There's always ways to get back and work hard and reapply. And it just depends on what your lender and specialist is going to advise to you. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be another year. It really just depends. But I wouldn't give up just because you were turned down once for your mortgage.
Now remember, if you want to know more about the mortgage stress test and qualifications, watch our video above. So let's say you get denied for one lender. Is it, I'm sure you can go to different lenders and just keep trying to get approved, right? There's nothing stopping you from doing that?
There is nothing stopping you from doing that, but it's also not advisable, right? Every time, if you, let's say you go to your first lender and you're turned down, you go to a second lender and then you're turned down, I go to a third lender and you're turned down. Now we see a pattern. We see a pattern, and also the credit bureau is going to be impacted now. We're going to see that you're a credit seeker, and now you're going around and just getting turned down from places, which is definitely going to impact your score. So what I would do is probably not do more than 2, right? Get a second opinion, and then from there kind of really decide to see, does the second opinion make sense? Is it in line with what the first opinion was? If the second opinion is way off and you feel like you have better chance that you get some good news from your second opinion, then you know your first opinion was faulty. But I wouldn't go more than your second opinion. Nothing's stopping you. It's not just advisable. Most likely, if 2 or 3 lenders have turned you down, there's a really good chance the 4th or 5th or 6th going forwards are also going to be the same, as most lenders have very similar lending policies, right? We all kind of base it on risk, and if they feel that if there's not comfort or there's no appetite for that certain amount of risk, it's going to be turned down everywhere. So definitely don't do that. Definitely get a second opinion, and maybe kind of decide after the second opinion if you want to go further, and then just kind of see if what the specialist or lender is telling you about kind of makes sense to you. And if it doesn't make sense, then go for that second opinion. I wouldn't do more than 2.
Is there a time limit, or do you have a recommended time limit before you should apply again?
Once again, it really just depends on why you were turned down the first time around. If it was a credit issue for something that was unforeseen, for example, there was a collection on your credit, or you went over your limit on one of your trade lines. Trade lines are what we call your obligations. For example, like a line of credit can be a trade line, a credit card can be a trade line. Let's say you go over your limit on any one of those products and you realize it was a mistake and you paid it down. Yes, definitely. Maybe wait 3 months, 4 months. Wait for that credit bureau to update. Wait for that to kind of impact your score in a positive way. Let's say it impacts your credit, it's gone up. You can try again at that time for sure. But if it's other scenarios, if it's income or something else, then it could just depend. It might be longer. So, and once again, a great discussion to have with your lender and specialist to see when is a good time to apply, and what can I do differently for having more of a positive outcome next time I apply. So know all those discussions, have those discussions, and prepare yourself for the next time.
So the question I have for you is, have you ever been denied for a mortgage application, and what did you do? Let us know in the comments section below. Samo, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that's very much it.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and remember to watch our mortgage-related videos in the description and the playlist below. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you.
That's another edition of Homebuyer School. Tune in next time for more expert tips and tricks. And visit homebuyerschool.ca to bring you one step closer to finding your dream home. As with everything, it would be great if you like and share our videos. Also, please let us know if you have any home buying questions you want us to answer.